Hello, this is a small recording just to give you a direct experience of a simple meditation that you can do at any time. It's called Meditation for a Calm Heart, and it is really, really beautiful, and anyone can do it. You can practice it in between appointments, you can practice it in the car, which is where I am, waiting somewhere in the park, at night before going to sleep, in the morning when you wake up and you want to set your intention to have a calm day that's centered in your heart, which is your most powerful way to be, because when you are aligned with your heart, you're aligned with your true self, with your kind, loving, powerful self, and powerful in a way that is beyond words and rationale. It's where deep happiness rests. Nothing in the mind can ever sustain happiness. It's just going to come and go. It's going to have something else it might want, more. That's the nature of the structure of the ego, perhaps you could say. Not that there's anything wrong with having some ego there. We need that. But it's also a place that can endlessly keep us spinning out. And to actually come into the calmness of the heart is a very powerful place where your presence will speak, and where your truth within yourself, that part of you that's always been there ever since you were a child, can really express. So without further ado, I will just ask you that if you can, just take aside maybe 3 to 5 minutes, stop the YouTube to just get comfortable. We want to have a straight spine as much as possible. Support yourself, adjust your chair, the couch, wherever you are, on the bed, and feel that, you can feel that your chest is slightly open, the shoulders are slightly rolled back, and naturally your chin will tuck in into what we call a light Jalandhara band, which is a light neck lock. So it's not really a lock, it's more an awareness and keeping the back of the neck longish, and feel that you are aware of this moment. So feel whatever it is that's supporting your body. And in this day and age of busyness and so much information, which is wonderful, to be able to deal with this information and to be able to deal with so many choices that we have, it is really, really extra important to ground ourselves in ourselves. So walking barefoot in nature is powerful. Being in nature, spending time in your garden, among the trees, just in the fresh air even, is really important. And those things sound very simple, and you're probably hearing them everywhere, and they're almost dismissed because they're so basic, but they really do reset things. We are naturally connected that way, and somehow society has gotten very far away from this. We look at that as a retreat nowadays, to come into nature. We look at that as, wow, on the weekend I actually went into nature. Ideally though, the human body is designed to have that exposure every day, and nowadays we live in a house, we walk in the shoes which are blocking us from the connection to the earth. We drink water that's not fresh from the earth like it used to be, even just 60 years ago. We make it an amazing thing if we have organic food, and really that's what we used to have. And so nowadays, we need to make the time to even just have 5 minutes to ourselves. So notice that you can take that time, and it will make a huge difference to become who you really are, so that you become aware of your true nature, rather than the mind, which is generally all about survival, which generally compares, which generally is looking for more and more, and really doesn't create harmony and peace. It has its place. We need to be able to use our intelligence to make good decisions. It's very important that we come from within, from the heart in particular. So it's now into 4 minutes and 34 seconds. So I would think at 5 minutes we will start the meditation. So the hand is across the heart, like this. Is the left hand. Your left hand is sitting across the chest. The thumb is slightly up, the other fingers are straight across. Now the right hand is coming into Gyan Mudra. So you've got that slight neck lock. We're going to be focusing either having your eyes closed or having them 1/10 open and just gazing through the eyelashes, looking straight ahead if you can. These are optional. We work with our intuitive self. In that way, we enhance our natural intuition, because where your attention goes, energy flows. Remember that. And so it's very good to be able to be aware of the brow point, your intuitive higher self connection, and your heart, which is your most powerful radiation field of love and beauty and purity. And at the same time, you're aware of what's supporting the body, which keeps you in touch with the earth element, with your own inner earth, your own groundedness. So the base, bring up your pelvic floor and connect with that. Belly breathing helps with that. So right now, while you're listening to me, feel the belly expand on the inhale. Let it contract back on your exhale, even if that's all you do for now, starting to ground into yourself rather than being scattered everywhere in all the things that we do during our lives. And so if you want to go deeper, connect with Mother Earth, you could sit in your garden somewhere on the ground. Imagine your tailbone connecting energetically into the core of the earth, into the part of the earth that is nurturing for you, that is bringing up that energy through the tailbone all the way up the spine, and really connecting with Mother Earth and Gaia, so to speak, the feminine. So our right hand is going to have a mudra. So this is all about not being in the ego and working on a different plane of consciousness. So a gentle circle here at the thumb and index finger, and the rest of the fingers are straight. So really try to keep them as straight as possible. We're going to roll the shoulder back, have the elbows slightly alongside in a comfortable way, and you're having your palms straight facing forward. In a sense, you know, as if you're making a pledge, being really open. You notice this posture opens your heart and is quite lengthening for the spine. So allow your palm to face forward. The 3 fingers are straight up, pointing up. Elbow is relaxed near the side with your forearm perpendicular to the ground. So we're going to now close the eyes, focusing either at the brow point or your eyes are almost closed and you're looking through the eyelashes straight ahead. And we're concentrating on the flow of the breath. The way you breathe determines everything, determines how you experience life, because it affects your brain chemistry, it affects your consciousness. It's a very, very deep topic. I'm basically keeping it super simple because the most important thing is your direct experience for now. If you want to research more, ask more questions, feel free to ask and we can go into that as well. So we're going to have a long, deep breath pattern. And that means ideally, if you're comfortable with that, use the 3 sections, which is the belly, the chest, and the collarbone area. Upper area can bring up emotions. If it's too strong for you, then keep the breath more in the lower areas of your awareness. So as we inhale through the nose, let your belly expand, let your ribcage widen, breathing into the collarbones. Suspend your breath briefly. So it's a suspension, not a tightening, just a hold. Exhale from your collarbones down the chest, bringing the belly back towards the spine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to regulate the breath consciously, relaxing into it. So inhaling slowly and deeply through both nostrils. Suspending the breath, raise the chest. Retain your inhale as long as you are comfortable. Exhale smoothly and gradually and completely, bringing the belly back towards the spine. When the breath is fully out, completely, lock the breath out as long as you can. This will be different for everybody. For now, I'm just going to create a pattern and then you obviously follow your own pattern. So inhaling, belly expanding, ribcage widening, breathing up into the collarbones. Slowly hold. No tension. You should never suffer. You should never create tension. This should be ease and flow. When you're ready, exhale through the nose, collarbones, chest, belly back towards the spine. And then keep that breath out as long as you can. The belly is slightly pulled back and you may even have a soft, what we call mula bandha, so slight pelvic floor lift. but that's not necessary, it's just optional. So inhaling, concentrate on that flow. Exhaling, concentrate on the flow. Keep the breath out as long as you're comfortable. And keep going. Very importantly is that you keep your jaw relaxed, your lips are soft, because you want to keep in a relaxed phase of your awareness. And clenching the teeth, like I often say, is not great. It will create a stress response. It will create a problem with the vagus nerve. It will make the body feel like it cannot relax. So keeping your jaw relaxed, your tongue can be pressed to the roof of your mouth for that, lightly. And just flow with this. This is very beautiful. Meditation for a calm heart. Inhaling smoothly. Exhaling smoothly. Remember, you're feeling the warmth of your hand, your left hand across the chest, nice and straight. Fingers. The right hand is in Gyan Mudra, the mudra of calmness and wisdom. Fingers straight, shoulders rolled back. Chest is raised, especially on the inhale. Notice that you are raising the chest slightly, retaining that inhale, and then exhaling slowly. So let yourself experience this. You may hear the sound of your breath. You may use whatever mantra you relate to. You might feel like inhaling calmness and exhaling calmness as a simple practice. So you could use that word, calmness. You could, for example, inwardly say, I am calm. As you inhale and as you exhale. It is highly beneficial if you keep the rhythm the same, and that's where using a mantra helps to keep the breath in and out the same for this one, and really following the flow of the breath. So as I inhale, I could slowly inwardly say, I am calm. I suspend that breath, the chest is elevated, I hold that, gazing at the brow point. And I exhale, I am calm, bringing the belly back, keeping that breath out as long as possible. And keep going like that. Allow yourself to stop this YouTube if you want to keep going, because I'm going to explain what this particular meditation does now. And you can also continue breathing this way while I share with you the details of this meditation, their benefits. And that is another great practice, because you can still remain in this position and in this practice and still be hearing what I'm saying. You know that the more relaxed we are, the more we learn new things, and the more open and receptive we are. You'll be very surprised, if you haven't already realized it, how much more receptive, creative, intelligent, wise, and integrated we are when we are breathing in the most calmest way. So I'm going to read what the particular Kriya says, and let yourself feel that, absorb it, and perhaps if you relate today, you might want to practice this meditation regularly at a particular time, or spontaneously keeping it locked in your YouTube or wherever, somewhere, mark it with a particular, maybe email it to yourself. That's what I do. And then you might want to use that. Feel free to, subscribe, because I'm going to add a lot more videos like this and recordings of breathing styles. Some of them will be more regulated. This one is a particular free one. And just give yourself that self-care and that option as like a toolbox, like an availability that you have that is free to live your highest potential. So what it says about this meditation: the proper home of the subtle force, prana, so that's life force, that's in everything, it is what sustains things, is in the lungs and heart. So the left palm was placed at the natural home of prana, creating a deep stillness at that point. If you're not wearing as much as I am, then you might feel, I did certainly feel it as well, but the less you have layers, more you might feel the warmth of your hand, like a self-blessing, a warmth, connecting with yourself, because all you need is within you. And the more you find ways to nurture yourself, like I used to years ago go to sleep with my hand on my belly and the other hand on my heart, and it was just magical. And it was just that connecting of my own inner sanctuary, my own self-nurturing. So you will create a deep stillness having that left hand like that. The right hand that throws you into action and analysis is placed in a receptive and relaxed mudra and put in a position of peace. The entire posture will induce a feeling of calmness. It technically creates a still point for the prana at the heart center. Emotionally, this meditation adds clear perception to your relationship with yourself and others. If you are upset at work or in a personal relationship, sit in this meditation for 3 to 15 minutes before deciding how to act. So if you have to make a decision, say you finished work, you need to go in, say you're about to meet someone, your boss or a colleague or a friend, and there's something stirring inside you, what this meditation will help you with is come from your calm, centered place. And not saying we need to be calm and centered all the time, because I feel that we don't want to get trapped in that. But it is an option and it is a beautiful thing. Sometimes you need to be more passionate. Sometimes you don't have time to meditate and you're more spontaneous. Sometimes an environment may require that you are not so calm. And that, I know that sounds a little crazy, but sometimes someone won't take you seriously when you're calm. But let your field speak, and being calm will certainly save you a lot of energy and will make you feel a lot better. But like I said, we need to embrace the warrior within us and also the absolute peace, and know when to use what aspect of ourselves. So I do not want to start a cliche of we should all be constantly calm and collected, even though that is a great way to be. And if you want to be that way 100% of the time, then absolutely brilliant. But I don't want to force us to feel that that's the only way and that's the way that should be. Sometimes, because there's a bigger picture, we need to be less calm. We might be more powerful, more assertive, more concentrated in making our point and leaving it there. Lots of variations to that. So let's not go black and white, but at least if you want to be calm and if you want to be centered, which is generally how I prefer to live my life, and it makes me feel good, it makes me feel like I'm making conscious choices, and it makes me feel like I'm not creating more karma. Although again, sometimes being sweet and soft is creating a situation where something continues longer, And sometimes being sweet and soft will create a solution straight away. It really depends. The world is very complex, so keep that in mind. So, emotionally, as I said, this meditation adds clear perception to your relationships with yourself and others, and they're always reflections of each other anyway. So if you're upset, meditate first, then act with your full heart. Physically, this meditation will strengthen the lungs and your heart as well. So very important, the heart and lungs are one really, and they are very much not just a physiological structure, they're also very emotionally affected. We all know that. I don't have to show that proof to you. When we are stressed, you know, the heart rate changes. When we are calm, it's different. When someone hurts us, we feel it in the heart, vice versa. It's all goes hand in hand. So this meditation can be really, really good for anyone, beginners. It will start to tune you into the awareness of the breath and the flow of the breath. And there's a lot of wisdom around being aware of the flow of the breath as a basic practice. And even though it's basic, it's incredibly transformational and incredibly centering within yourself, and more powerful than probably a whole essay. So some of the most basic things can be the hardest because the mind will go, oh yeah, that's so basic, that can't be so powerful. But there's a secret, it's almost hiding in simplicity, and using that is really worth it. So don't let your mind kid you into the idea that just because it's basic, that it is going to have a very small effect. No. Sometimes the basic things are the most powerful things because they just work and they take you into stillness. So do realize that, and realize the mind tends to think something is complex and fancy and difficult, and you had to go around around many corners to get to it, and then it becomes more precious. That is a big, big illusion. So it opens the awareness to the breath, it conditions your lungs. And when you hold the breath in or out for as long as possible, for you personally, remember that, you should not gasp or be under any strain when you let the breath move again, because that is again causing stress. So the more you can smooth your breath out, the more you're going to have an emotional state that is also smooth, how you deal with life. So again, massive, massive, massive. And now my own additions to that is, if you want to go further and rejuvenate and make this a lifestyle, you know, build this up, make it longer and longer, you know, even for half an hour or longer. And what happens is that on a neurological level, you are just changing patterns, old patterns. And these old patterns are the ones we tend to fall into when we have stress. Because in that moment of stress, often the fight or flight response gets activated, and then the natural mechanism is to get away or to have a problem solved quickly. And when you start to change that okay, there's a problem, I really don't need to go crazy on that. I can stay calm. I need to just find my center. You'll find you're more creative. You'll find you make less issues in terms of add issues on top. You will find that you have less things like perhaps driving erratically, maybe speeding, getting a speeding fine, or forgetting your keys, or having to backtrack. So it will save you time. It will save you, ironically, time if you take the time. And this is something else we need to program into our minds more and more in these days where everything is fast and rushing. For what? Nothing really. We're just burning out, basically. So if you want to change your neurology and your patterns, we need to try something new, and we need to create those new pathways. And this is a definite science as well, 100%. And that's where also using fingers, using mudras, will activate more centers in your brain and therefore create change. That is what I know through neuro-linguistic programming and through my further studies that I have taken on. I do keep studying that almost nightly when I have the time. Besides that, I'm studying sleep, and I'm studying a lot on neuroplasticity, because that is the most fascinating and most hope-inducing thing, that we tend to be stuck, and with neuroplasticity and the awareness that we are that, things can change completely. We just need to set aside time for the practice and realize that there is an infinite field of potential for us, and what we focus on is where our life is. So ask yourself, what are you focusing on? And can you rechannel your focus into what you really want? And usually what I find people, my clients that see me and that want to start living more fully, that want to release stress, that want to break addictive patterns, that want to shine their light, it usually boils down to finding deep happiness within, shining that light, and that creates a creative awareness of where the spirit inside you wants to go. We cannot find that through the intellect. I'm sorry, but the intellect has a great place there, but you want to shortcut all the journeys of where the ego might be taking you, and perhaps programming from your schooling system, your society, or from what your parents had hoped about you. Even in utero, you observed what your parents really wanted, and because the sense of survival is achieved by pleasing our parents, there's quite a strong program, whether we like it or not. So we can become aware of that through meditation, through neuro-linguistic programming, that I do a particular amount of work, that I link the yoga with the awareness of the unconscious mind, so that you can become aware of what it is you really want to do. So you can recognize the patterns that you've absorbed that are not really yours. They are maybe even from your ancestors, from your loving parents that never meant any harm. They just had hopes for you in a certain way so that you could have a better life than them. From your society, from the world that you live in, from perhaps a teacher that affected you a lot, or a loved one. It is just so multifaceted, and we are so very, very programmable. So the idea is that you choose, what do you want to be programming you? Would you like to come from your quiet, beautiful, divine, infinite heart center, and start to realize that the mind is something we need to use as a tool, and not that it is running all those decisions that sometimes therefore come from a limited idea of competition and many, many, many countless programs that are not empowering. Actually, they make you slave and work hard instead of smart, instead of with joy. So find that joy, and maybe something I've said is helping you with that. If it is, please feel free to comment, feel free to ask for more of this. I'm right here for that, and the more I know that people want it, the more I'm inspired to share and to offer techniques and to be part of the change that's happening on this planet, to really open the heart and to remember who we are and who we always were. So have a really wonderful day, and thank you for listening. Hope this helps you in your practice, or in your day, in your life, in your relationships with yourself and others, and all the very best. Like I said, feel free to subscribe, click that little bell, because then it will tell you on your phone or on your mobile, whatever device you use, your computer, oh wow, Sabine has uploaded something. There'll be a title there, so you can choose whether you're interested in it or not. And I will refine my practice as well of being a good YouTuber to support the world, whoever's interested. So remember to trust yourself, listen to your self-knowing above all, collect information, but come back into your true self. There are ways like this mudra here as well that help you to connect, to have that union with yourself as all the fingers touch. It's very grounding, it's very centering, and some of you probably are doing that naturally. And there's a real knowledge of ancient yogic knowledge for sure that I can share, and so that you don't question yourself, so that you feel supported, so that you can really trust who you are, yourself, your divinity. It's very, very important, because unfortunately there are a lot of so-called guides out there that are not really trying to guide us into the right place. And I won't get into details now, but really do discern. Even people that look angelic might not be angelic. Really feel for yourself what resonates with you, and trust that. And keep discerning along the way. Sometimes layers come off, sometimes it might take a few interactions. And really, really trust yourself. And the more you trust yourself, the more your intuitive self will become clear to you how that communicates. Because it can communicate in many ways. Symbols, signs, a sense of peace, a sense of spontaneous awareness. But there are also other things that communicate, as you know. And how do you know which bit is the one to listen to? You will know by trusting, a feeling, a first awareness that comes, and then really harnessing that. It's like you're building it. It's like you've planted a seed and you're watering it. You're making sure it's got fertilizer, sun, you know, that the other things aren't getting to it that want to chew it up, you know. And really it's a basic example, but you nurture that, and the more it rewards you and you have that positive relationship, the more that will flourish and the more it becomes strong, and your inner tachometer or GPS or wisdom, whatever you want to call it. And I feel this is the era for that, because there is so much out there, and there's a lot of greatness, and there's a lot of equally, we're living in polarity. We're living in duality. So whatever is looking like light has got a polar opposite that presents itself to invite you to another side of unconsciousness and egoic suffering, temptations of whatever they might be. These days there are so many addictions on the internet, on all sorts of things. I don't even want to get into it. I think you probably know what it is. There's also addictive food and drinking patterns, and these are all things that nobody really wants and enjoys, but gets caught up in. All your money can get caught up in that, your energy, your time, and generally those things are spiraling you down from feeling amazing, and they become a horrible addiction that somehow is creating a feeling that you don't need to face the pain inside. But facing that pain is wonderful. It actually is just energy. It is something that may elicit tears, and you can meet that. The worst thing that can happen if you're facing a pain, from my perspective, and I could be wrong, but from what I've seen in my clients and myself, is grief, crying, and an incredible release and freedom. Because we are afraid to face the tears and the hurt. And once we have faced that, it's like a cloud moving away from the sun. You just feel a relief, and you realize, wow, why have I been carrying this all this time? It was just a packet of information. If we're going to be really technical, it's information and belief and a fear of pain. And if we can, it's not going to cut you up. It's not going to make you die. It's really something that, believe it or not, I have done great experiments on myself when I was in amazing pain, which was a gift. It was bringing up, you know, obviously past pain. And I practiced, this is just information. This is a sensation. I can stay calm within this. I'm not going to shrug up my shoulders. I'm not going to try and hide. I'm not going to try and ring a friend, even though that's great, but anything to distract myself, you know. I'm just going to sit in it. Hey, come here. I can sit in this. All right, so here we are. It's hilarious. It can't really do anything. It's a strange belief that makes us run. And once you see it and feel it, you realize you are so much bigger than any of those painful thoughts and memories. Honestly, you are so much more. You always were. And anyway, I'm getting really in deep now. I didn't plan to say this. But meditation for a calm heart definitely also is a way in which you could face things from your childhood, or face things on an everyday level, to come back and realize, wow, in my calm heart everything is okay. It's my inner sanctuary. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I can share that. I'm so happy that you are watching that, whoever is there right now. And if it makes even the smallest difference in your life, then we are making all the difference as a collective. And that is the change. That's it. And so thank you again. I will leave now, and blessings. Take good care.